All right. Approval of the minutes for March and April.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Tom, announcements?
Announcements, thank you. Our next Board of Commissioner meetings are scheduled for May 24th. At that Monday meeting, the award of bids for the PA Energy grants are slated to be on there. That will be for the HVAC contract, the insulation contract, the windows contract, and the geothermal well drilling contract. The announcement for the Bishop Richard Allen park dedication for the sign that is there, and should be a very nice ceremony on Tuesday, June 1st at 10 a.m. The announcement of the National Trails Day event by Friends of Radnor Trails, and I'm still coordinating getting a flyer with them. And then the next commissioners meeting is June 21st, and we're looking at awarding of the bid for park signs, and I'll get into that a little bit later in the agenda. Parks and Recreation Board meeting, our next meeting is Thursday, June 10th, 6:30 p.m. at the Radnor Township building. And I did mention the Bishop Richard Allen Park dedication ceremony slated for Tuesday, June 1st at 10 a.m. And that concludes my announcements.
Okay. Activities report?
Activities report. It's always an exciting night because we get to announce our summer activities brochure, which is out and available. We're very excited to have the summer 2010 recreation guide in front of you. It has a wonderful array of recreational activities for people of all ages and abilities in the community. Starting our Radnor Day Camp program, which is at Radnor High School, our Radnor Tot Lot program, which is at Ithan Lodge this year, our playground program, which takes place at Clemacrone, Beauconnor Park, Odorizio Park, and Cowan Park. We have an array of different week-long camps that are of science, nature, and theater, and lots of different opportunities and choices for children at a young age between 4 and 6, middle-aged students, and then teenage students as well. So very excited. There's basketball camps, chess camps, tennis lessons, Harry Potter Magical University camps, survivor camp, field hockey camp, cooking camps, geocaching, healthy kids camp, frisbee camp, squash camp, all-star sports, sports galore, and they're named in the report. So we're real excited about the wonderful array of programs. We have some nature day camps as well. They're going to be at Fenimore Woods, running different weeks throughout the course of the summer. We have also in the brochure some adult programs that you'll see, golf lessons, tennis lessons, One Fit Mama Stroller Fitness, Zumba, which is a dance class that's a new program for us. We have some exciting excursions planned to the Philadelphia Phillies on Friday, August 6th, down at the ballpark. Also, our traditional U.S. Open Tennis Championship trip to Flushing Meadows, New York. So excited about that as well. We also have some information on the Wayne Arts Center and Growing Greener and the summer camps that are being offered over at the Willows Cottage with the Conservancy and Greener Partners and many of the programs that they are having this summer. We have some information in the brochure regarding Radnor Memorial Library and the wonderful array of programs that they have to keep our children's minds working during a busy, hot summer. The Radnor Activity Center, as always, will be a nice focal point of a lot of our programs this summer, and we're excited to be offering some camps there as well. Also, in the very end, and it's a popular page, we have our community resource page, which allows folks to know where to reach out to get further information on different community activities. And then we have our community events page, which alerts individuals and families in the community to wonderful community events that are planned, and they can get them on their calendar moving forward in the summertime. We wrap up, and it's the last page, and we encourage folks to tear that page off and to stick it on the side of their refrigerator. Cost it is our 2010 Radnor Township Summer Concert Series. It's on Wednesday evenings. It starts Wednesday, June 23rd, and runs through Wednesday, August 4th. Our first concert is at Ithan Elementary School with Steve and Steve, and they keep the 60s music alive. That begins at 6:30. We're very excited. TD Bank and Penn Medicine Radnor are both our proud co-sponsors to take care of all the costs for our summer concert series. We will have free ice cream for the kids who attend the concert this summer, and real excited about that. I'm happy to answer any questions regarding the summer recreation guide and the concert series before I go on to projects.
Good, I'm glad you are, Tom. A couple of thoughts. First of all, once again, great job by you and the staff of putting this together. This is fantastic, and it's a great benefit to the community. Let me ask you this, though, and it's a loaded question, I guess. There's a few of these programs that we as a township are actually running, and that's the tot lots and the daycare centers and everything else like that. And I know that we more than break even on those things. We have no risk. Do we have any risk on any of these other ventures at all, in case they're not full or they're not complete? Or
the programs that we run that are with vendors, we receive a percentage from them. If there's basically, in most cases, it's 75%, 25%. We receive 25% in working with them and provide the service to the township residents. The only one, if you're saying risk, I would think is if the U.S. Open tennis tournament trip didn't go, because we did purchase the tickets. Mm-hmm. We haven't had that issue in the past. There was a deposit for the Phillies game, but we can return those tickets or move it to a later date. Okay. But other than that, no, they're programs that we have scheduled. If they don't get filled, they would be canceled. And we're excited to fill them, as many of them as we can, and keep the kids busy.
Absolutely. Any other questions for Tom on the summer series of programs? Again, Tom, great job, and I think this is the other question. How are we communicating all of this with the township residents?
We are communicating. We're using our website. We have the brochure out at different designated areas throughout the township. We also work very closely with the school district. They do have their Go Green policy, so we can no longer send it home in the school bags, but they do work with us to let us use their email system, and they have a link on their web page as well. So we do try and encourage the students and the families to spread the word. This year we also hung a sign, one on Route 30, one on Conestoga Road, to alert individuals that the brochure is out there. It is available, and we're trying to do the best we can to get the word out to people in the community. It's advertised on our scroll as well.
Okay.
Hey, Tom, what are we doing with some of the other schools that are in the township, like a St. Catherine's or?
St. Catherine's also no longer distributes them through the classrooms. So in most of those cases, what we do is we drop off, say, 50 flyers, and they have them in the administration building, and they can be picked up accordingly.
Okay. Any other questions for Tom?
Yeah, again about the brochure, Tom, are any of these mailed out, or are these strictly pickup?
They can be mailed out. If individuals give us a call, we can mail them out. It's designed that way on the back, so we could write an address and fold it in half and mail it. We had a mailing list. We cut down on that as a budget savings, and contacted those folks and let them know to look for it online.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Would it benefit us if we sent a single flyer out through the mail?
We talked about that. It's still a cost associated with doing that. And at that point, they still have to go to the website, and we're hoping to reach and notify as many people as we can through the current methods we're using and still be as budget conscious as we can be.
Okay. Is this the first year that we haven't been able to send this out directly through the schools?
For the summer.
Okay.
We had the same situation in the fall and with our winter brochure as well.
And how did our numbers look?
We did, numbers were slightly down. We did okay, but for summer and the number of camps and the variety and the way people look at the brochure and sit down, and it's a large document, it's kind of cumbersome to look at online.
Right.
So I think that and also for the younger children who are in an elementary school that aren't what I'll call sort of in the system and know to look for it or know to go online for it, they may not know the array of opportunities that are out there. So it's something that we're continuing to try and do the best we can to communicate to the community that it's available.
Okay. Did you actually get a price as to what it would cost to send this out to prospective people with young children?
It's 87 cents a
No,
brochure.
not this, just a flyer.
Just one
If we
page.
just send one-page flyer out, what would that cost?
Yeah, or a postcard reminder. It'd have to go look at that number and let you know.
Okay, because that might be something that might be worthwhile as a return on investment. The numbers could be small enough, and my fear is not that we're making money. My fear is that there's parents out there who can use this kind of service and don't know about it. And I don't know if we're doing a good enough job to communicate. People don't go online looking at the Radnor channel, although I don't know if you guys have looked, our Nielsen ratings, we've spiked. We're doing much better every week. But other than that, I'm not sure other people are actually seeing this. All right, any other questions for Tom? Tom, once again, thank you.
Thanks.
Do you want to continue with activities?
I do. We're working with a tremendous number of groups in the Radnor Township, the school district, St. Catherine, Sacred Heart, Hilltop, Radnor Wayne Little League, Agnes Irwin, the Legion Baseball Program, Soccer Club, Radnor Youth Lacrosse, Barrack Hebrew Academy, the school district's Ultimate Frisbee Club, and softball, with juggling schedules for the busy spring and summer and usage and permits. The New York City trip on April 17th was canceled due to lack of enrollment. I'm happy to report that the fountains at the Willows have been installed, and also that the work on the drainage at Beauconner Park near the tot lot area has been completed, and the parking lot improvements at Fenimore Woods have also been completed. You'll also note when driving around, you'll see the leaf mulch program is in full swing, and people who are interested should take advantage of that while supplies last. The leaf mulch is available at the Willows, Emlyn, Tennell Park, Philippone Park, Fenimore Woods, Harford Park, Skunk Hollow Park, and Ithan Valley Park. We have our summer park education cleanup this Friday, May 14th at 9:30 a.m. It's going to start probably more like 10 a.m., but folks will be there. The watershed group is going to arrive around 10:15. We're real excited to have them come out and help us out that day to do some positive cleanup. That's tomorrow. The police open house is also tomorrow from 5 to 8 out here at the Township building at the Yankee Park complex. The Friends of the Willows Cottage has a Willows Cottage cleanup on May 15th at 9 a.m. And the Memorial Day Parade, Monday, May 31st at 9:45 at the Radnor Financial Center. Our Arbor Day celebration was held on April 30th at Cabrini College. It was a great success. Radnor Township was named a Tree City USA for the 17th consecutive year by the DCNR Bureau of Forestry. My thanks to Radnor Middle School students, Howard Holden and the Cabrini College crew, and also State Representative William Adolph and Commissioner Elaine Schaefer for joining us in the ceremony. Our annual Youth Trout Derby, which was held the same weekend at Sawmill Park, was a great success. We had 150 young fisher people out there having a great time fishing, and winning prizes. I want to thank John DeMeo and the Chester Valley Sportsmen's Association for their great efforts with the event. I mentioned earlier about the bids being awarded hopefully on the 24th. There's a great array on our website and also in the brochure about events that are going to be taking place at the Willows Cottage. So folks who are interested should absolutely go there. The CSA is in full swing, and the Skunk Hollow Community Farm has begun its operations, so it's very exciting. The Cowan Park Grant Project, I've been in the process of putting together the bids packages for that and hoping to have them completed by early June, award over the summer, and work to be completed in the fall. Willows Mansion Committee meeting was held on Tuesday, May 11th at the Willows Mansion with the committee, Mary Conahan and myself. The group discussed operations, marketing ideas, and capital projects at the facility. The Conservancy and Friends of Radnor Trails and Historical Society, we were looking to add some trail history signs. This is one that has been on delay. I did talk to Greg Pritchard this week, and he thinks he is finally getting some pictures from the gentleman he's been waiting for. So we're excited. He's going to be home the 24th from university, and we'll be able to touch base with him and get that project hopefully rolling. Bob Thomas, John Fisher, and I did communicate, and Bob is going to be touching base with PennDOT to determine some of the legal right-of-way issues with the limited access right-of-way involving the concept of expanding the Radnor Trail down to Ithan Village along the Blue Route. We're also going to be meeting or talking to Leo Burnaby to follow up on the concept of the extension with Martha Brown's Woods and addressing some issues that came up surrounding that matter. The park signs have been installed at West Wayne Preserve, Friends of Radnor Trails Park, Bo Connor Park, Bishop Richard Allen Park, and Ralph DeMeo Field. I'm very, very happy to announce that the Township received a $10,000 DCED grant for park signage at Emlyn Tinnell Park and Clement Crone Park. The Board of Commissioners on this past Monday evening authorized to go out to bid for the project. Bid specs have been developed. They are out. It's going to be advertised the 19th and 26th, and the bids will be opened on the 9th and tentative award of bid on the 21st at the Board of Commissioners meeting. The basketball court at Odorisio Park has been completed, so Bo Connor, Odorisio, and Clement Crone have all been done. There's some minor punch list work at Clement Crone, but they all look great. The Township has purchased the domain names www.radnoractivitycenter.com and www.radnorparksandrecreation.com to try and assist folks as we continue the transition of going in a more electronic direction. We did have the dedication ceremonies on April 24th for the dedication of Bo Connor Park and Ralph DeMeo Field. It was a wonderful community event. I thank their families for their assistance, and it was a great ribbon cutting and unveiling. I'd also like to thank Commissioner Curley for attending that day, and also Joe Ritz from the Parks Board. Jim Riley came to the last Park Board meeting to talk about the concept of bathrooms and concession area. You're going to touch on that later on the agenda. There was an Open Space Committee meeting held last night, Wednesday, May 12th. The Park and Rec Board had a Fields Committee meeting that Penn Fitzpatrick is going to report on a little bit later. We discussed some capital maintenance projects and procedures that have been implemented to improve the health of the ball fields. I want to thank the Hartford Dog Club for generously donating $1,000 to the Radnor Township Park and Rec Department. Ted Miller and the Dog Club have been wonderful to work with, and their stewardship of the park area is greatly appreciated. I would like to thank David Byron and Cub Pack 371 from Radnor Elementary School for performing an Earth Day cleanup at Philippone and Connor Parks. And we are fortunate to have Dan Schultz from Gwynedd Mercy College. He's agreed to an unpaid internship, which will be for credits, with the Park and Rec Department this summer from June 21st to August 6th. And that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay, let's move on. Shade Tree Commission, I don't think there's a report regarding that, but we're looking for a representative on May 26th to attend that meeting. If you will, check your calendars and let Tom know if you're available for that. I would greatly appreciate it. School board report?
School board is busily engaged with finalizing our budget for the upcoming year. Our kids are looking forward to summertime, and so we'll definitely have an interest in what we were presented with today with the Summer Parks and Rec Guide. And apart from that, Brucey would like to add something.
I was just thinking about this wonderful brochure of activities for children for the summer, and is there any way that, Tom, you could get the Global Connect to send out messages about this program, about the programs that are in here?
When you say
Coordinate-
Global Connect, you're
Well,
referring to like
The telephone system that the
Yes.
school has to send out messages to parents, and it sends out messages to all parents in all schools.
I can certainly discuss it with the superintendent.
All right, thanks.
That's a great idea, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Could you guys also possibly get us up to date a little bit on what Radnor Wayne Little League is doing with the middle school softball fields?
Radnor Wayne Little League has very generously donated money to put in dugouts and fencing for our softball field at Radnor Middle School, and the board has accepted that kind offer and
Great.
donation. So thank you to Radnor Wayne Little League. Thanks.
Excellent. Any questions on the school board report? Okay, committee reports. We set up, well, we had a number of standing committees, but we charged the field committee and the Willows committee, the fields committee first and foremost, to look into our usage of the fields, our needs in the community, whether or not we will need any additional fields in the near future, and the maintenance of the fields. And the first meeting was had about 2 weeks ago, and Fenton, if you will, could you get us up to date?
Sure. The committee got together with Paul and Tom, and we went on a field trip per se to visit a couple of the fields and kind of view the maintenance and some of the needs that maybe some of the fields had or didn't have or didn't need. We first stopped at Radnor Memorial, and I think there may be some concerns that drainage is possibly causing some of the turf issues that we might be having there, and the possible recommendation might be to possibly crown that field to kind of better get some of the drainage off to the sides instead of in the middle. We then went to Radnor Middle School, and obviously with that having just somewhat opened and having limited play is in great shape, and obviously we'll continue to keep an eye on that as time goes on and as play increases. We also went to South Devon, and it appears that there are some areas there that probably have some immediate attention that needs some review, and there's some areas in that area that are really unplayable, and actually even Paul's view is really not able to be mowed because of some drainage issues which appear to be popping up. So, and I also think that we need to schedule another meeting and view some of the other fields in the township and kind of continue viewing and reviewing and looking for ways that we can improve the various fields within the township. So I think it was a great first step, and I look to continue that process going.
Thanks, Fenton. Any questions?
Fenton, I thought we were going to close Radnor Memorial. I thought we talked about that and give it a rest for a year or
I
something.
actually asked that to Paul about the possibility of a rotating closure of one of the fields, and I think that is, that's a possibility. I think with the reopening of Radnor Middle School, I think they want to kind of get that field up and going and maybe mature it a little bit before they go ahead and do something. I guess, obviously, with some of the budget constraints, we have to kind of be mindful of anything that we can or cannot do based on what would be available, and obviously have to make any recommendations to the commissioners and try and get some direction from, and get some thoughts from them.
Thanks.
Tom, regarding South Devon, if we lose that field for the fall, where so much activity is being done with St. Catherine's football and some of their other programs, do we have someplace to move them over to? How much of a loss would that be?
It'd be a large loss because it's our only recreational football field that we have within the park system, as far as for football is concerned. So it would be big in that respect. That would be the largest impact.
Does St. Catherine's pay for the use of that field?
St. Catherine's, along with all of the other youth user groups this year, is paying a per head fee per each participant that participates and plays in the township parks and fields.
I may have missed it, but what again are the specific issues with South Devon?
There's springs popping up in the field.
At least that's what it appears.
Springs?
There's,
Springs,
yeah,
just
there's,
underwater springs, are just
it appears
all of a
that,
sudden they're there.
In
There's a swamp-
communicating,
There's a swampland back there behind
Okay.
those second tier of baseball fields. And I guess there's some underwater drainage coming in, and it's just making it really a mess.
Oh, wow.
and
sorry.
yes,
Yeah,
in the lower,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, you can actually see water running, and, I mean, you might want to go in with boots, too, because there's some serious issues.
What would be the cure for something like that?
I would say that we'd need to get somebody to assess before really making any type of recommendation.
Whoa.
Is it worse this year because of
I
all the
think it has.
snow and the rain? And
Yes.
there's a stream that runs under that. That
It-
whole area is known to be wet. That's the area in which I live, West
Right.
Wayne.
in communicating with the township engineer, he expressed that there's a very high water table right now, and obviously the amount of the winter was a factor, and all the rain we've had, obviously a big factor. He said that he has received calls from residents in the community that have expressed, that a pipe burst all of a sudden in their yard. They've had the same thing experience, and he's gone out, and it's just springs are popping up from the high water table.
Tom, has St. Catherine's been notified yet that there's a potential problem for the fall?
Yes, as far as I am aware, but I will double check that tomorrow.
All right. Any other questions regarding the field committee report? All right, the other committee that we wanted to get going and keep active this year was the Willows Committee. Again, with the concept of the Willows being one of the crown jewels of the township, and we wanted to make sure that we're getting the most out of it that we can, taking advantage of the facility, and keeping it as pristine as it can be. So with that, we had a meeting the other day, and Andy, if you would give us a report? Sure.
As Tom mentioned, this past Tuesday, the committee met with Mary Conahan, the Wills director, and Tom to sort of, at the Wills, sort of get a better sense, or firsthand, as to what goes on there and what the certain needs are. As Tom mentioned, it is a crown jewel of the community, and something I think that's very unique to Radnor Township. And Mary does an exceptional job of coordinating and running things over there. And I also have to tip my hat to her husband too, who appears to be doing a lot of on-site repairs as best he can. Some things that were discussed that I think I wouldn't put them as challenges, but hurdles that would make sort of operations a little better is the Wills has a unique function in that well, it's still a municipal entity, it's a commercial nature to it. And in that it can be rented out for parties and weddings and so forth. And some challenges that I guess are hurdles that would enable, if we could get over, would enable maybe a better function of it were some sort of flexibility with some of the fee scheduling. Also, certain repairs that, while on a line item may not seem like much in a budget, but sort of when you see them in person, like we personally saw a leak that was coming in through the roof that, while it doesn't seem like a big deal if you're looking at a line item on a budget spreadsheet, it is something that you notice right when you walk in and could sort of deter people who might be interested in renting there. Those are type challenges that I guess she has in trying to run a commercial entity in this sort of in a municipal environment like that. But I think one of the things we all sort of recognize that might be helpful is a focus committee with people from the community who have sort of a focus or a professional background, some kind of specialty in the hospitality industry, to see ways that we can better market it, I guess, or better, maybe not better price it, but sort of put more flexible price points on it for people to rent it, both residents and non-residents, and also just sort of explore the operations itself. But it was a very impressive presentation. Any questions?
The Willows is unique, and we've all seen this over the years, and the fact that many of us don't think it's an ideal spot for a wedding, and yet nevertheless that's the first target we go after. And maybe that's where we're making a mistake in our marketing. Maybe we should sit back and take a look at the whole procedure, this whole facility, and say, what is this best suited for? And then go out and market to that. You know, maybe it's the rehearsal dinner the night before that makes more sense, okay, or things along those lines. So that's all we're trying to gather right now and try to get as much input from everybody as we can and go from there.
I feel like I've asked this before, but I'll ask it again. Do we have a capital plan in place for long-term maintenance of the Willows? In other words, things like roof replacement, boiler replacement, windows, whatever, the kinds of things that have to happen to old buildings?
There's a 5-year rolling capital plan that has those items are worked into that capital plan. Yes.
Is it going to be funded?
Well, at this point, those.
I'm just asking.
No, at this point, many of those items have been deferred, and but we will look forward to when there's money there to achieve those.
Thank you.
But it is a real concern, obviously.
Well, it should be. I mean, there will be a point of no return
Sure.
with a building of that age and in the condition that it's
Sure.
in right now, and that's the thing that you either want to openly acknowledge we're moving there, or you want to cut that off at the pass. And I think that will be a decision that has to be. It's responsible to decide actively what we're going to do, not just let it happen.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, when we were there, we noticed some water damage in one of the rooms. And fortunately, it was the men's dressing room, so no man will ever notice that there's any water damage in there. But nevertheless, it's the type of thing, just that you're talking about. If you don't take care of this now, it's going to become a major problem. And if we don't have the resources to take care of it, we have a problem. So this is one of the things to look at. Yep.
I'm just wondering if you've asked any people out in the community who might be interested in volunteer work, who are contractors, to make those repairs.
I think that's one of the things that the committee's going to come back
contributions.
to and make recommendations for that. We want to get people who might be able to help us in those areas, and also people who are in the catering business, who would have a better knowledge than we do as to what this facility can handle properly.
Great.
So-
Well, I'm actually talking about for those contractors to do pro bono work.
Yes.
Yeah, you understand that. Yes,
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Hey, Tom, is there been any thought, or is the number of gratis events being hosted there, has that reduced or been lowered?
There's not any gratis events hosted there. There's community events that are at a lower value, and there are school district events which are part of the ground maintenance agreement. That's part of that equation. But one could So, no, there's no gratis events.
Okay, moving on. We have two commissioners in our vast audience tonight, and any comments from either? Please step up to the podium, let us know your name, and and you
Well,
have,
I just
excuse
wanna
me,
add
you
to
have,
the-
you have 3 minutes.
Okay, here we go. I do want to just comment to about the conversation you had about the Parks and Rec brochure. And my concern with it is not so much as people knowing about it, because I do think we've done a good job of getting it out there with the e-minders and with the signs. This is the problem. It's, 60 pages long or 50 pages? How many pages is it? 32. And you go through it with your kids and you sign them up for things you never would have thought of, like the Harry Potter camp and I feel like we're at risk of hurting those kind of random programs, because if people aren't paging through it, we're not going to get adequate sign up. I don't think that the daycare program or the tot lot thing, I don't think they're in danger because everyone knows about them. It's more the kind of out of the ordinary programming that we offer that I'm afraid if we don't get enough registrations this year, they're going to come off the plate. And that's something really special we have here in Radnor. We don't just have your ordinary, run-of-the-mill programming. We have some pretty cool stuff in there. And I do think it's going to hurt that our program, or, the registrations, if we don't have it in the hands. And, come on, who is going to page through 32 pages on their computer? You're not going to do it. You're going to go and you're going to find your one program that you know about, print that one out, and that's it. So it's a problem that we have to figure out what we're going to do. And I think that the school district is being very steadfast in their desire to stay green and not put these out, so we have to work around that. And it may come to mailing it out to a select list of perhaps really young people, of the younger families, but I think it's something we have to think about and address. So.
Let me just ask a question and follow up to that, because I think that's a good point, Elaine. What does our website look like with respect to this brochure? Is it a PDF of the brochure itself, or have we designed the website to be interactive with layers for selecting this? You can go in and select athletics or an age group, or there are things you could do with the web to make it much more user-friendly and overcome some of the objections that you note. And again, I'm, I guess, professing some ignorance here because I haven't looked at it myself, but I will ask you.
It's a PDF document is what is currently available on our website.
Oh, so it is printable, but my point would be then that maybe the thing to think about is to work beyond the PDF and actually get an interactive site that will allow you to sit down with your child or your teen or whomever and go, okay, athletics, boom, click, and get the athletics menu up so that you don't lose the specialty programs. I mean, I think that the point is important, but I'm also looking, looks like a pretty expensive document to put out and certainly to mail. So while I think that it's what we've got to work with now and we should get it in as many hands as possible, for the future, we might want to think about being a little more aggressive with the way we do the website, just as a point of, or an idea.
But if we're spending the money to put it together and it's not getting to all the people that need to see it or seeing the total package of what we have to offer, are we missing the boat?
Well, yeah, and I think that if you get a web designer in who knows how to do this kind of thing, that's money that you might spend in design periodically, not every time you do it, and then you can work content. But it may be that that's the better place to spend money for this rather than the large brochure. Again, just a thought. It's worth, I think, spending some time on that, both budget-wise and from a creativity perspective, just to get the info out.
That's a good point, but we still have to get them to the website.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things where a flyer or
Well,
something, or mailer of some sort.
but I think it would be I think that would dovetail with what you're suggesting, the postcard or the one-pager that goes out. I have no issue with a one-page thing, check here, but it would be great to say, check out our website, click, it's interactive, you can register, you can pay, the kinds of things that we're getting pretty accustomed to doing with commercial ventures and everything else. I mean, we'll end up there sooner or later.
Sure.
And so I guess my feeling is, hey, how about sooner?
And again, if we send out an email blast to the residents and put a
Sure.
hyperlink directly to the page.
Yeah,
That would make
absolutely.
sense
You
as
have a
well.
link and then you're in and you can just work it. But the PDF is it's cumbersome on the web. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of the way that,
Would the school district have a problem with us distributing one page as opposed to a whole book?
Can't answer.
Yeah, I can't speak to that.
We can't answer for the school district, but I think it was wonderful when my kids were in elementary school, for them to be, coming home with their information about the summer.
Well,
I like that.
it was fun,
It was
wasn't
fun.
I
It was
met with
exciting.
Greg, I met with Greg and discussed this. And what came back from that meeting was Linda does not want to break the policy. I don't disagree with that, and I'd like to continue to pursue, just even if it's a one-pager that directs people what to do. Especially, and this is the elementary schools, because that's sort of when we get people into the system. Once they're in the system, they know about it. And at the fairs this weekend, we did have information available, right, Tom?
And for this weekend coming up.
Right. So that's a way that we've tried to address it.
And is it in the office of every elementary school? Are there copies of this in the office of every elementary
Yes.
school? And at the library?
Yes.
And
Yes.
all points around Wayne?
Library.
All right.
The Acme.
Acme, I was thinking
Gennardi.
Gennardi. Yeah, but then you get people who are picking it up who aren't in our district. But that's okay, I guess people who aren't in our district are able to come to these programs as well. So it generates business for us.
Maybe a quantity of brochures. How many are we printing? Are we printing the same number that we've always printed, or are we printing fewer? How does
No,
that work?
we're printing fewer since the directive has been that we're not able to send it through the schools.
Well, my answer to Linda's not wanting to go against the policy, which I appreciate, I'm going to go back to the Global Connect, the telephone service for which the school district pays that sends out calls to parents, and it can be narrowed down to just elementary school parents. So that might be
That'd be a great idea.
one option.
Also, Susan, to your comment about the Willows and getting some gratis help, as you're aware, the Willows Cottage was taken over by the Friends of the Willows Cottage, and there was close to $170,000 worth of labor and supplies that were donated for that project. I mean, electricians, plumbers, landscapers. It's been marvelous. And I have a feeling that once we get that project moving along, that hopefully we can have that same kind of excitement move up to the mansion and help us with that resource.
Yeah, I think that would be in order, because again, my concern is, it's not so much, do we fix a leaking roof this year or next year, or put a bucket under it, whatever, but it's the long-term preservation of the asset, or the decision that we're just going to let it run its course and then, do something else with it in 20 years or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Very good point. Thank you, John. Thank you, Elaine. Old business. Recommendation of Radnor Wayne. Jim Riley was here at our last meeting, and he requested of us, they want to take the old Comcast buildings, the old brick buildings over there for 100 years ago, and convert them into a restroom and a snack bar. Okay, and he requested our thoughts on that, and we had to defer it. We didn't have a quorum at that point in time, so wanted to bring it up right now. Again, we're talking about Enki. We're talking about that facility right there. It's something that's going to be obviously extremely beneficial. It's going to be a long, long time before we have the resources to put a restroom in that facility. We just don't have the money, and we have so many other priorities on our list. So they willing to do this and pick it up on their own dime, I think is a tremendous advantage. The concession stand obviously is something that they would absolutely need to generate some cash to replace the dollars they just spent on the middle school field, and also what they're going to be spending on this. So I'd like to open it up for discussion.
Question. Where is this facility? My kids played Little League, but,
right
no, I
outside.
know the field, but where is the building?
Right on the corner of the first field.
It's in the woods, actually.
It's in the woods?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'd have to landscape to gain access to it, or
They would
I'm just
have to.
can't
They
even
would do
picture
it. It's
Yeah.
pretty clear now.
Clear.
But they
Okay.
will clear it out a little bit more.
Okay,
And there's certainly access, it's easily accessible.
okay. Yeah, so this would be behind where the pitching machine is? I
Yes.
know there's a,
It,
okay.
it's gonna be, yeah, behind that, but off to the side. So
Okay.
it's pretty much an open area. You know where their shed is now? Their equipment shed?
Yeah, I do.
It's right there.
It's right there.
30 feet down from there.
Okay,
It's right
all
behind
right,
it.
No big
sorry.
deal. Yeah.
Okay,
I love the idea, and I think that they should go ahead and do it.
Okay.
I just, as a parent, having children who played on that field and younger ones who were in tow watching and sometimes needing to go to the bathroom, it was a pain in the neck to come up here.
Yeah, very much
So
so.
that will remedy that problem.
Mhm.
And also, just to get a snack, it would be wonderful.
Yeah, it would be great.
Yeah.
And having a concession stand there will allow them also to host tournament games, which brings a little bit more prestige to the area as well and raises some dollars for them as well. So, any other questions?
Mike Glynn, who's not here, he's actually coaching, had sent me and asked me to raise a few questions. Did Jim address the staffing of the concession stands as far as who's gonna run and who's gonna man that? And
He did not, and there are many more steps along the way before this is approved by the commissioners, obviously.
Okay.
Ours is obviously preliminary from here. I'm sure it's gonna have to go probably to Board of Health and a few other committees before it gets passed, and no, I don't know how they're gonna staff it at this point.
Another question he was interested in gaining was projected revenues received.
From the snack bar?
Yeah.
I hope they break even.
well, that's not gonna fund anything.
I'm just passing along Mr. Glynn's concerns.
I think that's more of a question for Mike to ask to the Radnor board,
Okay.
Radnor Wayne board.
Didn't we originally have this on our plan when we redid this building?
100 years ago.
Okay.
I think
As soon as
I think
Comcast
the-
moved out, this was our
these
plan, game
bathrooms.
plan.
So we were talking about putting bathrooms in at one point.
Absolutely.
On the subject of bathrooms, if you put a bathroom, that's wonderful. Who's gonna maintain it? Make sure the plumbing is not running, make sure there's toilet paper, et cetera. That becomes the township's responsibility. Could you speak to that, just, Tom, in general, about how we handle restroom maintenance?
The township is responsible for the different comfort areas that are located within the park. In this particular case, it would be something where the township would have to work out with them some sort of lease for the building, and I'm confident that lease would address the utility bills that would come associated. Obviously, a park bathroom would serve more than just Radnor Wayne Little League. It would serve other park users as well. So I imagine there'd be some compromise there on how that would be determined. But the township currently does maintain and pay the utility bills that are associated with the comfort stations that exist in the parks.
How often are they, does somebody go around and clean up?
Twice a week, Mondays, and Fridays.
Okay, thank you.
Keep in mind, there's a tot lot in the skateboard park proximity of that
Yeah.
Right.
field.
Can I say one thing about bathrooms? The bathroom, this has nothing to do with this little issue here, but it is about the bathroom at the West Wayne entrance to the trail. And it has locks on it. It has a key, a computer pad. And I just went 1, 2, 3, 4 and opened it. So I guess that's the. That's the
1, 2,
code.
3 is the code.
Oh, 1, 2, 3.
You got an
Okay.
extra number.
Well, is it okay to tell everybody out in TV land?
Absolutely.
Because I know people are still.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Top secret.
1, 2, 3 is the code for the parks, and we encourage folks to enjoy and use them for the park bathrooms. In the event we have found when they're left open, just completely open and they become an attractive nuisance and tend to be vandalized. So 1, 2, 3, and then they're locked in the evening and what have you. It tends to have been a good system.
And I just want you to know, normally we request that you serve on the board for 2 years before we give that code out.
Right.
But Tom made an
All right.
exception tonight, so I guess we can let that go. Any other questions regarding the Radnor Wayne Little League's request? Any motion to,
Can I just ask a quick question?
sure,
Where is this, Tom?
looks like it was Tiki.
That's a picture of proposed comfort station that would be part of the Cowan Park Grant project. I happened to get a copy of that in my looking for bid specifications, so I put that in your packets.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
No, we have a motion for the Radnor Wayne Little League first. Motion to accept the proposal?
Motion accept.
Yes.
Motion to
Second.
recommend.
Second.
Now we have to.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, it carries. We pass it on to the board. Okay. Now, Jim,
Motion to adjourn.
second?
Second.
So moved. We don't even need a vote on that.